The Christmas murder that shocked America, the JonBenét Ramsey mystery. It was Christmas night, 1996. The Ramsey family home in Boulder, Colorado glowed with warmth and cheer. Snow blanketed the lawn, lights sparkled through frosted windows, and laughter echoed from the living room. 6-year-old JonBenét Ramsey, a child beauty queen with golden curls and bright blue eyes, was the star of the evening, full of joy, full of life. To anyone looking in, it was a perfect family Christmas. But before dawn, that perfection would vanish. Because by morning, JonBenét would be dead, and her home would become the scene of one of the most haunting mysteries in American history. This is the story of the JonBenét Ramsey case, a murder that has baffled detectives, divided the public, and refused to be forgotten. December 26, 1996 AT exactly 5:52 a.m., a frantic 911 call broke the silence of Boulder's cold morning. On the other end was Patsy Ramsey, JonBenét's mother. Her voice trembled as she cried out, "Please hurry. We have a kidnapping. My daughter is gone." Police rushed to the scene. Inside the Ramseys' 7,000-square-foot home, officers found a shaken family, Patsy in last night's clothes, makeup smeared, John pacing the floor, trying to make sense of it all. On the kitchen counter lay a 2.5-page ransom note. It demanded $118,000 for JonBenét's safe return, the exact amount of John Ramsey's Christmas bonus that year. But the note was odd, too long, too detailed, written in a strangely dramatic tone, as if copied from a movie script. And even more suspicious, the note was written on paper taken from inside the Ramsey home, with one of their own pens. No sign of forced entry. No broken windows. No footprints in the snow outside. Whoever had taken JonBenét hadn't left a trace. Or perhaps, had never left the house at all. For hours, police combed the house, waiting for the kidnappers to call. But no one ever did. Then, around 1 p.m., Detective Linda Arndt asked John Ramsey to check the house again, top to bottom. He went to the basement, flashlight in hand. And behind a closed utility door, he found something that would haunt him forever. There, wrapped in a white blanket, was his daughter, JonBenét. Her wrists were tied above her head. A garrote, made from a paintbrush handle, was looped tightly around her neck. She had a severe head injury, and the light in her eyes was gone. John carried her upstairs, sobbing, shouting for help, but it was too late. JonBenét had been dead for hours. The ransom note was a lie. There was no kidnapper. Only a murderer, and a mystery. From that moment, the investigation spiraled into chaos. The crime scene had been contaminated, friends and family had walked through rooms, touched items, moved evidence. What might have been clear that morning, was now lost forever. Still, detectives began piecing together what little they could. If the intruder theory was true, how did they get in? If it wasn't, then who inside the house had both motive and opportunity? Then came another shocking detail. Handwriting experts said the ransom note showed similarities to Patsy Ramsey's handwriting. But handwriting analysis isn't perfect, other experts disagreed. Then came the DNA evidence. Investigators found unidentified male DNA on JonBenét's clothing, DNA that didn't match John, Patsy, or her brother Burke. It seemed to point to an outside intruder, but skeptics argued it could have been from factory contamination, not necessarily from the killer. Every clue contradicted the last. Every path led to another dead end. Theories began to multiply. Some investigators believed JonBenét's 9-year-old brother, Burke, may have accidentally harmed her during a late-night sibling fight, and that the parents staged a kidnapping to cover it up. But there was no physical evidence to support that claim, and Burke was later cleared. Others argued the killer was a sexual predator who broke in through a small basement window. Police found a broken window pane and an open suitcase nearby, maybe used as a stepping stool. But snow around the house showed no footprints, no sign of anyone entering or leaving. There were also theories of revenge, that someone connected to John Ramsey's business had targeted the family, leaving behind the ransom note as a warning. But again, nothing fit perfectly. Every piece of evidence seemed to point in a new direction, and then collapse under scrutiny. Whoever committed the crime had either made a series of unbelievable coincidences, or executed one of the most confusing crimes in modern history. As weeks passed, the case exploded into national headlines. Reporters swarmed Boulder. News anchors called it America's child murder mystery. The nation became obsessed. The Ramseys, once admired and respected, were suddenly viewed with suspicion. Were they grieving parents, or cunning actors hiding something terrible? John and Patsy went on television to declare their innocence, insisting they loved their daughter and had nothing to do with her death. But many didn't believe them. In 1999, a grand jury secretly voted to indict the Ramseys for child abuse resulting in death, but the district attorney refused to sign it, saying there wasn't enough evidence to convict. Years later, DNA results would officially clear them. But by then, the damage was done. The public had already made up its mind, and the Ramsey name would forever be tied to tragedy. The years rolled on. Patsy Ramsey passed away in 2006, still proclaiming her innocence. John Ramsey, now in his 80s, continues to seek answers, hoping someone, someday, will find the truth. Burke Ramsey lives quietly, rarely speaking publicly about the night that changed his life forever. The unidentified DNA is still the biggest hope, a single clue that might one day match a name in a database. But for now, it remains just that, a mystery frozen in time. The Boulder police still receive tips every year. But no arrests have ever been made. No justice. No closure. Just a chilling reminder that sometimes, evil hides behind the walls of the places we feel safest. More than 2 decades later, the death of JonBenét Ramsey still haunts America. She was only 6 years old, full of innocence, joy, and promise. Her story reminds us that appearances can deceive, and that even on the happiest nights, darkness can strike without warning. Somewhere out there, someone knows what really happened in that house. Until that truth is revealed, the JonBenét Ramsey case will remain one of the most chilling, heartbreaking mysteries of our time. May she rest in peace. And may the truth, one day, finally come to light.